This is The Infiltrators Scary Stories. Tonight, 10 Home Alone Scary Stories. Just to let you know, this podcast is now available on multiple different platforms. It is available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Anchor.fm, Breaker Audio. It is available on Stitcher. It is available on a lot of different places. Just download your favorite podcasting app. If you already have it on your phone, just search it, The Infiltrators Scary Stories. And if we're on there, we're on there. If we're not, then let us know. And if you have a scary story, please submit it at theinfiltrators.godaddysite.com. Click on Contact and send us your story. And now, 10 scary Home Alone stories on The Infiltrators Scary Stories. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free, and there's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your own podcast right from your phone or your computer. Anchor will then distribute your podcast for you so you can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many, many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need in a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started today. Number 1. One night, when I was about 12 or 13, my parents were gone for a while, and I was just staying up really late, past midnight, on my desktop computer, waiting for them to come home. Like most people, I had been told a million times not to talk to strangers on the internet, but half my friends list on MSN were people I had never met before, so I was just chatting with a bunch of them. Out of nowhere, one of my friends had told me exactly what I had been doing the past hour or two. Example, what I was eating, drinking, playing with, when I had gotten up last. Things I hadn't mentioned in chat. Instantly, I got a horrible feeling in the pit of my stomach. My desktop was set up in front of a big window, so as far as I knew, this person had been talking to, that was supposed to live in a different country than me, had found my address, and somehow had been watching me through the window. Turns out, he had somehow hacked into my computer and was watching me. I always left it unplugged, even though I had been warned not to when I was using it. And had been frequently watching me through it whenever he wanted. It's been 10 years, and I still have the cameras on my device covered up with thick duct tape. Number 2. I was about 8 and I was taking the trash outside after the sun went down, when a hand reached from the other side of our back deck and grabbed my leg, trying to yank me. I screamed very loudly, and they let go, and I ran inside. Number 3. I was a kid, around probably 10, and I was babysitting my 7-year-old sister. We grew up near an insane asylum, and every now and then, we'd get an escape person in our yard. They'd walk off the grounds and head through the woods toward the nearest big town. They'd get about a mile to our place and realize walking 40 miles to that town was probably not happening. So they'd ask to use the phone to call and get picked up by the hospital. This happened every now and then, but This was the first time it had happened when I was home without my family. The woman who arrived in our driveway wanted me to call the hospital to pick her up, but she also asked me if I had some matches, presumably to light a cigarette. I assured my sister into the house and locked the door as I called. The woman was kind of half screaming, half moaning, "Matches, I need matches," until they came and picked her up. I'm sure it was for a cigarette, but it also could have been to burn us alive, so I didn't give her any. Number 4. I had just moved into my first apartment. It was around 8:30 p.m. or so. I heard a knock at the door. So I thought, but there was nobody there. So I go about my business and I'm unpacking things. Then I hear the doorknob moving, like someone was putting a key in it and turning. And then they knocked again. At first, I got really excited that my then boyfriend was home. But then I realized it was only 8:30 and he was due home from work around 10:30. So I looked out the kitchen window and didn't see his car anywhere, or anyone's car I had known parked beside. That's when I panicked. The doorknob kept moving for a few more seconds and then stopped. A few minutes later, they had some piece of metal and they were sticking it between the door, trying to open the door. I freaked out at that point and locked myself in the bathroom with a knife, and I called 911. They tried to pry the door open for about 3 minutes before they stopped. The police surveyed the area and found an elderly man roaming around with a knife and a crowbar. He used to live in that apartment, and he wanted his stuff back that we stole when we moved in. I was told he was really delusional. I'm so thankful and glad I didn't answer the door once I realized it was no one I knew. To this day, my heart stops when someone knocks on my door. Number 5. So this took place in my backyard when I was a kid. My mom had made a tree swing by putting together large logs across 2 trees that were split at the top in a Y shape. A rope hung down from the middle of the log, and there was a little wooden slab to sit on and swing on. I was out there swinging anyway, when suddenly, before I knew what had happened, I was pulled backwards and found myself laying in the dirt. I looked up just in time to watch the log that was holding the swing, and it came crashing down. I had used this swing 1 billion times, and where I landed wasn't even reachable at maximum swinging capacity. I looked up and no one was around. The feeling of being pulled back is permanently lodged in my brain. Number 6. I live in a cul-de-sac. My bedroom is on the 2nd story. I woke up one night around 3 a.m. to go to the bathroom. I knew we were expecting a lot of snow. I looked out the bedroom window, and I was looking to see the accumulation. It was deep, higher than the curb, like a white blanket across the cul-de-sac. I decided to get some water, so I walked downstairs, turned on the light, went to the bathroom and got water. Was downstairs for maybe 4 minutes. When I went back to my bedroom, all the lights were out again, and I looked at the snow one more time. Within those 4 minutes, there were now fresh footsteps leading from my house across the cul-de-sac and disappearing behind my neighbor's house. Number 7. Once I was alone, watching TV, and the door behind me closed, unlocked. I don't know what was going on. Maybe it was a ghost. I don't know, but it scared the hell out of me. Number 8. I lived out in the middle of nowhere, surrounded by woods and corn and wheat fields. I was home alone one night and decided to step out on the front porch for a cigarette. I'm about halfway done, take another drag, and when I blow out the smoke, it rolls around a face about a foot away from me. Needless to say, I tossed the cigarette and noped back inside and locked the doors. Number 9. I was house-sitting / babysitting for a neighbor. She was a single mom from the East Coast. She had just moved to Indianapolis. I was a 6th grader, and all I had to do was sit in the house and do my math homework while she was on a date. Her 2-year-old baby was sleeping in his crib / room. Around 9 p.m., I got a call, and I answered it. It's some man who only asks, "Who are you?" I say I'm the babysitter. Then he starts asking all these questions about where the mom is and who I am personally. I got scared and hung up and called the mom and let her know. The guy calls back and then just starts saying what the address is. And he knew it. He knew exactly where I was at. Then asks if the baby is okay. When I say yes, he is, he says, "How can you be so sure when he's that close to a window?" To which I go, "I'm just the babysitter, and I'm trying to be a really good babysitter, and I'm trying to do my math homework, and I'm scared, and I'm also failing math." Basically, a mental breakdown happened. 5 minutes later, the mom shows up and explains it's her ex-husband who found her. She hands me a wad of cash and excuses me. I don't know if the guy was in the bushes or calling from Massachusetts or what. It was scary. And number 10. I was laying on the chair with my eyes closed, but I wasn't really asleep. I heard a woman whisper my name in my ear, and she told me that I had to get up now. I swear I could feel her breath as she talked. I got up, and there was no one there. Hey, guess what? There's another surprise one. Now, here is number 11, a bonus. Scary story. Number 11. I was asleep in the living room on my off day when a Suburban came crashing through my kitchen. Dude was drunk and high. Had taken his grandfather's Suburban and left a trail of destruction through the neighborhood for 2 blocks. 10 plus vehicles hit my house, 2 mailboxes, and tore up multiple yards until his SUV was disabled from hitting a Camry. Police ended up busting the window and dragging him out, half naked.